Welcome to the Artefacto YouTube channel. Today, we're thrilled to present a masterclass by one of the world's most gifted watercolor artists. Please welcome Stan Miller.
I'm going to start off with just plain phthalo blue right here, and I'll come in, and that's just phthalo blue, straight phthalo blue. And I could use any color I want, but I'm going to paint very carefully. My brush, this is a number 6 round, and I'll just go ahead and paint right in here like that. And I can use other colors. I'm going to add a little bit of red to my blue, which is going to make a purple. And you can't see it too much, I don't think, on the screen. That gets a little bit more purplish. And then I could add some other color to it, a little blue. And yeah, Jana?
Yeah, you start with the eyes, right? So it's quite interesting technique.
you can start. Yeah, you can start wherever you want. It doesn't matter where we start a painting. I'm asked that all the time. Do you always start with the eyes? No, not at all. But in this painting, I'm going to start with the eyes. In portrait painting, if we don't get the eyes correct, we're going to waste our time painting the pictures. So I start off, and we're going to try to get the eyes correct. This is something I use here. These are squares, little squares, and I have my students use these squares and put them on here to see how this helps us to see how I'm focusing, and I'm very careful and accurate. Now, as I come around to the edge of that, I can add a real light color here if I want. Like here's a little bit of red. Or I could add some blue, but watch as I come in here. It's hard to see here, but well, let me do the bottom part. Let me show you the inside of the eye. It's very important here. So look at this right here. There's a little white spot there. This needs to be a dark color. Most of my students, when I teach, they don't paint dark enough. They paint very much lighter than I do, and sometimes it's because the colors they use are hard. My paint is soft, and so I can paint darker here. Now that gives you that's going to go darker there. See how that fits in there like that? And again, we're not worried about color. Just get the darkness right. I can use any color I want, but just get I'm not even thinking about color at all. I'm just thinking value. Value is get the darkness and the lightness correct. And I'm just going to pick any color I want. You can use green, purple, orange, whatever you want, and it's going to turn out just fine. Most people worry way too much about what color when they paint their subject, and it's just any color will work. I mean, use colors you like, but see, that comes in here like that. And then we'll paint a little bit of darkness right in through here like that. See how slow this starts around the eyeball here, very carefully. And now I'll come down here. I'm using a little red and blue, makes kind of a purplish color. So if you want to know what color that is, that's red and blue. And depending on how much red, how much blue you have, it's going to change. And as it come down here, you can see how this works. Excuse me. I get a little more red.
Tips. Very interesting tips, really.
Yeah. So you can change your color here. Now I'll take the squares away for a while, and you can see what's happening here. Now, as I continue to do this, come here like this, and now I'll change color here, and I'll get, again, this is mostly blue here, and now I can go a little bit more red and yellow here as I come right in here like this here, and then as we come down and start painting some of these other colors, like right in through here, there's the way I paint a lot of times is very I don't have a lot of fancy techniques. Sometimes I do, but this is when I do a demonstration like this, I play it very cautiously. I'm not going to do anything too crazy. And I'll come in here like this and put a little bit, again, that color is just some red and yellow. And also we want to keep track of how wet is my brush. If this brush is soaking wet, just dripping wet, I call that a 10. It's really wet. And if I squeeze all the paint out of it, I call that a 1. Most of my painting here is probably only has a 2 or 3 amount of water. And again, so many people paint too wet. They use way too much water, and they have no control over their painting.
I hope you're enjoying this watercolor lesson. On our channel, we always share watercolor lessons from the world's top artists. And today, we have something special for you. Follow the link in the video description and sign up for a free online masterclass with another global watercolor star.
And so that's the beginning of that there. Now, another thing on the whites of the eyes, people leave the whites of the eyes too white. The whites of the eyes are not white. See, that gets a little bluer there like that. And usually get a little bit red too, red or yellow. So that starts off with the blue there. And then I can lift that color off a little bit. Now I can go a little bit yellow here. And right through here, I can add a little bit of yellow in through here like that. See, look at that color change. And then I can add a little bit of red around this little white spot right there. And I can add a little bit of, I had a light blue right here over this here like that. And then I can add a little bit of very light blue right here along this edge here, because usually that edge is like that. And then the highlight of the eyes too is now white. I'm going to go over like that. So if you want a more detailed painting, just go more carefully, more slowly. And like right here, that little shape right there comes through like that. And there's a little bit dark right through here. And that's actually the top of his lower lip. And then we come in here like this here. And we can there's a big curve right through here. This gets dark here. And this gets darker right through here like that. And this gets darker. And there's other hairs in here. There's a bunch of hairs here. So look at all these little shapes. It's like a stained glass window. All these little shapes. And we can change color as we go up the thing. But see, this is a lot of what painting the beard is like. This is very slow, meticulous. And now you can see here how I'm going in and I'm painting these darks. And that's what's happening. Now the beard is too light at this point. Now here I can come in, and while it's wet or after it's dry, I can come in here and make up some hairs here and go darker like that and do that. And then, so let's go back and get a little bit more work on his beard here. and add these whiskers. And I can come in here and add, let's say, a brighter whisker right here like this. That's using white paint. I can come in here like this and get more detailed like that. And we can go in and do that. I can even add white paint here. Notice how the hairs cut across the lip right there. See, my hairs are just stopping, so I can use white paint and I can come through here and I can do something like this here and go like this here and paint the hair right into the lip and do it that way. So that's using white paint to get some of those hairs to cross over into the lip. Also, look at this little, there's a little white hair here that crosses down. See, I don't know if you can see it there, a little white hair right there. I don't.
Yeah, white, a little white. See, yeah.
So you come in here, with your brush. It's very dry, very little water, and you just pull that little white hair right there. It is. See that? You can add that later using white paint, but most of the strokes need to be there. We can pick certain parts of the beard to get brighter. This isn't necessarily in the picture. I can get darker here like that, and that can create a mood. It makes some of these brighter. And I get this a little bit skinnier here. I don't know, Jana, how are we doing for time? I mean, I can keep working on this.
Yeah, actually, it's almost over. So I don't know, Stan. I mean, I have no problem with this, but yeah, it's more.
Well, let me show you this. Now, again, I said, here's my painting, and I did this pretty quickly and an hour, but it's hard for me. I'm standing up. Normally I'd sit down, I'd have on strong glasses, I go slow. Now here is, this is another demonstration I did of the same subject. So that's, you can see here, here's our image. I used this image and I did that painting. So you can see how with this image, a lot more detail, and you can see the example of the background here, but that's that. And this is probably a 10 to 15 hour painting. And then again, that is larger, and that is a 1 hour painting. So if you go quick, we're not going to get it the way it looks now. As I finish up like this, even though we're just about out of time here, I design wise, I want to get darker right here. I want that to go darker right here like that. I put a stroke like that, and then I'm going to fade this out here a little bit like that because I wanted that to go a little bit darker right there. All right, so this really helps you understand, hopefully, how I approach something like this. And many of my portraits where I make up this background, I'm very realistic in the eyes, nose, and mouth. As I move out, I become more abstract. And that's what's happening in this painting. So, well, the child portrait is done quickly. It was a demonstration, and this shows my two different styles of painting. The quicker, more impressionistic style of the child, and then the other one is much more photographic, which took much, much longer. Well, the man praying, his name is Nick. He was a friend of mine. He died 20 years ago, but I went to his house, got to know him, and I asked him to pose with his hands folded like this. And because he had a spiritual quality that I liked about his look. And so I did a lot of editing, but I liked that prayerful pose that he gave me. And the girl on the right, that her name is Heather, and she was a model for our life drawing group. And so she posed for us. And I had her come to my studio a number of times, and she would pose and I would paint her. And I liked her kind of thoughtful, reflective look. And so that, that's kind of what I enjoyed about her face.
No, thank you. Yeah. I'm totally agree because her, the view, the eyes looks fabulous, I think. And here's another example of your artwork that people will not think that you are doing just portraits. So there are a lot of paintings which you made like fabulous. So this is one of them. And this is, I don't know, Venice, or what is the city it is? Am I right?
Venezia, or we say in America, Venice.
Venice.
But yeah, I've been to Venice 6, 7 times. I love painting Venice, Italy, Venezia. And this is the kind of subjects I paint when I go to Venice.